And I'll start with, hey, nice to meet you.
Okay.
Hi, Trev. It's nice to meet you. This is the first time actually when we meet. We never met before,
No.
but I heard a lot about you.
Fantastic. Nice to meet you too. I'm looking forward to this podcast.
Oh, it will be exciting actually. What I'm really excited to share is the story of Trev, which is really phenomenal and very, very challenging even to hear. Trev, you know what really inspired me? When actually I just posted an interview of Steve Judge, and I posted afterwards the breakdown of podcasting, what exactly I'm talking about. It's your ability to step in and say, hey, I actually had a life-changing event. And I thought this is phenomenal when somebody had something happen to them, but you still stepped in and you were verbalizing that this would happen, but here who I am now. And I thought, that's phenomenal, man. I need to go and see him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. So, shall I tell you a little bit about my story?
Yes, please. Absolutely.
Okay, a minute. I wasn't actually born like this. Before I had my accident, I was into my active sports. I was into my skateboarding, snowboarding, mountain biking, and stuff like that. I would consider myself a risk taker. But I would also consider myself a calculated risk taker. When you're young, you think you can just get away with these things, can't you?
Yes.
And you just do them, you fall, you get back down, you get knocked up, you get back down again.
Yeah.
You get back up again, sorry. Anyway, my life changed on New Year's Eve of the millennium.
New Year's Eve?
Yeah, New Year's Eve of the millennium. We went up to Edinburgh to see the Hogmanay, to see in the celebrations of seeing the celebrations of the century.
Yes.
And it's quite a weird twist to the start of the story. I say I was a risk taker, but I wasn't. Basically, the day started where we decided to go under Edinburgh Caverns, under the city. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with Edinburgh.
Yes, I've been there before.
It's quite renowned for having a spooky presence, and it's quite renowned for having a spiritual, scary element to it. Anyway, Anyway, we went to this one place, and it was like I don't know how much it was, but this was during the middle of the afternoon, and we thought we'll go into do this tour under the caverns just to pass a bit of time. Yeah. Pass a bit of time basically, and we went in this place, and the first thing I saw was a locked room, and you kind of thought, okay, perhaps some kind of witchcraft or something does actually go on down there. Okay. Didn't really give it much thought. You just thought, okay, that room's locked. Anyway, we came to another room, and there was a stone circle in the middle of the room.
Okay.
Yeah,
gets spooky.
It gets weirder. The guide said, she says, the place where the energy is coming in and out of the room was exactly where that chap was stood, and that just happened to be me. And I thought, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I thought, that's pretty typical, isn't it, just where I am. Anyway, she kept going on about telling these stories about what had happened under some sort of stories that happened under the caverns. And some of them were very convincing. Obviously, she was a tour guide, and that was a job.
Yeah.
One example that came to mind, she said she did one tour, and there was maybe 15 people, and all of them at once jumped forward, and all of them said that they felt something had pushed them.
No.
So it was a bit like, wow, that was a bit of a freaky one. Anyway,
I have goosebumps now.
Anyway, we came out of this underground tour, and first thing we did was we went for a pint.
Yes.
And I was saying to all my mates, I said, I've had this really weird feeling in the base of my spine, and they're all laughing at me, as you do.
Yeah,
as you do, lads will be lads. And you puffy girl, you're scared of all the ghost stories, and and all this. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll take that on the chin. Anyway, I didn't think anything of it. And as it turned out, it would be one of my last walking moments.
No.
Literally an hour after coming out from the underground, we decided to go up to a place called Arthur's Seat to get a view over the city. I wasn't a climber. I wasn't prepared. I was wearing my normal everyday clothes.
Yes.
As
you do.
Yeah,
You travel, yes.
As you do, yeah. And my mate decided to climb up this rock face, and I decided to climb up with him. Anyway, it's all I remember. It was wet and it was slippy, and I lost my gripping, slipped, fell back down, and broke my neck.
No.
I thought I was dead because I couldn't move. My friends who saw me climbing, he thought I was dead. And by the time they got to the top, and everyone was like, "Where's Trev?" He's like, "He's fell." And I was just kind of in a pile on the floor. I had another weird experience at that moment. I heard two words. Not yet. And my mum died in 1993.
Yeah.
So I feel, and I've always felt, there was some connection, and she was saying, "No, your time's not for me. Your time's not for us to meet up again." It was only two words, but it was just so powerful, so clear. Not yet.
I like that. I mean, in terms of you having the message while you're there, you have lots of thoughts going through your mind, and you can't do anything because you're not even capable. You're there, but you have something in your head, not yet, which could be implied into everything. Not successful, not yet.
Yeah.
Haven't done the progress, not yet. So it wasn't just that. It could be applied absolutely everywhere. I really love that.
I see it, and I still do, as a sign of, I came close to dying, there's no doubt about that, and I see it as a sign of it wasn't my time to be reunited with my mum again.
Wow.
So I felt that I had this strange feeling, and then I also had this strange premonition beforehand. So it was either I felt a premonition that my life was going to change, or something in that moment in this universe made my life change.
Wow.
So anyway, I woke up. Pretty much, I was drugged up for a while, but I knew what happened. I remember seeing my X-ray, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Actually, physically seeing an X-ray of a broken neck was absolutely just horrendous. It was. I knew there was no coming back from it. I knew the damage that I'd done to myself. The doctors told me I'd pretty much never walk again. They pretty much told me I would be paralysed for the rest of my life. And then they also told me, "Oh, by the way, we're going to put you on traction, meaning you're now going to spend the next 3 months of your life flat on your back with weights drilled in the back of your head."
Oh no.
So that was kind of how my new year, my new millennium started. I had nothing to live for. I had no hope. I didn't want to wake up. At times where you'd wake up and think, "Oh God, another day. I don't want this. I don't want to face that." I had times where we had a serious discussion with my brother. How can we end this?
No.
I was 25 years old. I went from being physically fit, physically strong, to completely paralysed with absolutely no hope, nothing to live for. And I thought, I can't live like this. I just can't live like this. I kept fighting because of family and friends. They kept coming to see me, and I kept putting a front on it more than anything, and just saying, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay." Wasn't.
You put the face on, as you do. You always kind of want to sound you great.
Yeah,
look,
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, of course I'm fine. Look at me, everything is fantastic and phenomenal. When deep inside you feel broken.
Yeah, I was absolutely broken. My spirit was broken, my soul was broken, and my body. And I literally had to lay there and grieve for my life that I had lost, and grieve for the life that I didn't know. Well, I didn't know what was I didn't know what was around the corner, and we'll come to that shortly. But I didn't know at all what was going to happen. I didn't know how things would be. Anyway, 3 months. I say 3 months came and went. I don't really remember it. I've kind of blocked it out. But 3 months came, they went, and then they started actually getting me back up into a chair so I could actually go and do some rehab. Started doing some physiotherapy, and that wasn't easy because I kept getting dizzy. I'd sit up for like 10 minutes and then I'd go back lay down again.
Because of the balance, obviously. You were lying down
for
so long.
Lie down for pretty much 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even sit up.
Yeah.
And then we started, right, next day I'll do 15 minutes.
Yes.
And then I got up a little bit further, and then next day it was like 20 minutes. Yes. And then we got to a point where I could actually go down to physiotherapy, could actually go down to rehab, and actually start trying to repair myself. They put me in a wheelchair, and I couldn't even look at myself. I couldn't even look at my own self-reflection. Everyone was saying, you know, do you like this? Do you like this chair? Do you like that? And I couldn't even look at myself. My self-hatred was that much, and it was just like, yeah, whatever.
You see, because very often, obviously, as all human beings, we have one of the needs which we're driven by. But man very often is into significance, and man very often is into, look at me, I'm cool, I'm fine, I'm sporty, I'm fit, I'm healthy. So for a man, I think for every woman that would be very hard as well. But when you have a man in a wheelchair, when actually a young man, 25-year-old only, when you probably had some ambitions, you had your dreams, you had things, and now all of a sudden you are in a chair trying to recover without even knowing if you will be ever recovered.
Absolutely. I couldn't feed myself, couldn't dress myself. I couldn't wash myself. You had to go through the whole indignity of having your whole care being your whole care done for you, and you take these things for granted.
Yeah.
You know, that you can get out of bed.
Absolutely.
You can feed yourself, you can dress yourself, you can do this all yourself.
Oh, that's shocking. This is the golden nugget. We don't appreciate what we have. We don't appreciate when we can walk, we can talk, we can drive, we can see, we can hear. We can do so many things in life, but you do not appreciate them until something happens. And you realise how much you do take for granted. Yes.
So anyway, I mean, as I was in hospital, one of my first goals was to be able to push a manual wheelchair and be independent, because I just couldn't. I never reached that goal, and I just never gained enough momentum and movement in my arms to be able to reach that goal.
Right.
So we knew that the only option for me was to be in a power chair.
Okay.
I look back now and I laugh, but at the time it was so frustrating. I couldn't even drive a power chair. I had no strength, I had no movement. They'd find me in elevators, they'd find me in bushes, and I'd just be crying. And I'd be crying in a bush because I couldn't even get myself out, and I was just thinking to myself, is this it? Is this my life now? I've not even got the strength to push a power chair. I've not even got the strength to get out of a lift.
Oh my God.
You know, and it's just, you just think, God, I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
You know what? I'm so sorry to stop you here, but here I just really want to stop and tell people who have some really minor problems in their lives. Let's say they're late with payment, or they haven't managed to watch their favorite movie of the program today, or maybe they had an argument with their partner, or something else happened. People, be happy.
Absolutely.
There are people like you who actually have really challenges, who couldn't stand up, couldn't do anything, crying and sobbing because it's end of the life. It is. You feel probably like a vegetable. You feel like you...
That's exactly how I felt.
Wow.
I felt absolutely like a vegetable, like I was just a body existing.
Wow.
We talked at the time. One of my friends had done a collage of the activities that I did before my injury. It was done in good gesture. Pictures of myself skiing, snowboarding, mountain biking, etc.
But it was thanks, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think any of us really realised the severity and the fact that I would never be able to do these things again. And waking up seeing these things, it was kind of heartbreaking.
Wow.
But then on the other hand, while I was actually laid on my back, I don't know if it was while I was laid on my back or the first few months, it was quite. I think it was quite early that one of the nurses said to me, they said, "Oh, we can see you're active, and you will still be able to live a quality of life. You still will be able to do activities." And I was like, how? And they said that they were just going on a skiing trip with people like myself that either broken the backs or broken the necks, and they were going skiing. And I was like, how can I go skiing when I can't walk, I can't feed myself, I can't dress myself? All my basic human needs are being taken away.
Well, let me put it this way, I can't ski. Right? And I can't walk. I can't do everything. I can't ski. So I can imagine your shock there, because if I can't ski and I'm capable to walk, right? I can imagine what you were thinking.
I didn't think it was possible. The nurses came back from this particular skiing holiday, and they showed me photos, they showed me video. People that were in chairs that had been on this holiday came and talked to me and said, "Yeah, mate, we've just been skiing." And I was like, "Okay, sign me up." So I had to wait. Obviously, I had to wait till winter, and then the first year pretty much came and went. It seemed to go on forever, but it did eventually go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I booked myself onto a skiing trip in Sweden. I said, "Fine, if you say you can get me skiing, then I'm up for it."
Yeah.
So the January came. I had no idea how I was going to travel in a wheelchair. I had no idea how I was going to cope with the cold. How on earth I was going to ski at all.
And I can see why, because when you are able-bodied, actually when you move, you warm up.
Yeah, when you're stationary.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. People, you don't even think about that. Girls who watch this or listen to this, right? Be grateful for being body able.
Absolutely. Anyway, when the time came, we got to Sweden, and they got me in an adapted ski cart, which was quite wide and it was quite long, and it had a low centre of gravity, and the cart was designed so that it had skis on the back, which was stationary. Okay. And then it had two skis on the front, so if you pushed, and levers at the side, so if you pushed both levers in, you would do a snow plough, so it would slow down. Mm-hmm. And then if you pulled the levers back, then you would go straight. You did have someone behind you to monitor the speed and make sure that you didn't go careering down a mountain, although that was the goal.
Kill yourself completely.
But we got in it, and to actually get back out in the mountains again, just after a year after my injury, was just amazing. The sense of freedom, the excitement, the adrenaline, feeling snow, feeling the mountains, feeling the speed of just whizzing down a mountain and going, wow, yeah, actually, wow, this is amazing. The sensation itself hadn't changed. The only thing that had changed was me.
Yes.
And how I actually did the activity.
I like that. So even when something changes in the outside world and somewhere out there, it doesn't matter. It can remain there forever, but it's what's here. What's with your body as well, but what's here.
Absolutely, and the mind is the biggest part to conquer. The first time I went, I was so weak, I managed to ski maybe a couple hours a day, and then that was it, and I was going back having a nap because I was just so tired. So I had to come home, and when I came home, I felt like a new person. Wow. I felt for the first time I had hope, I had optimism. I felt that if I could ski, what else could I do? I came back and I did physio, and I worked on myself, and I got myself stronger and stronger. And then I managed to go back 3 years on a row, and I managed to actually reach my goal of being let off the tether at the end and being able to ski on my own.
I love
So
her.
it was
Oh,
actually
that's so sweet.
to actually get that feeling of independence and freedom was just like, wow, yeah, brilliant, goal achieved, and it was wonderful.
You know, it just proves, because I speak actually a lot about how our reality consists from what is now our mentality, but it also consists of what we were exposed to. So you were exposed to, actually, I'm able to ski. If I just give it a bit more time, if I just give it a bit more practice, a bit more perseverance, I will get there. So it just says how you create your own reality, being able to ski.
Absolutely. I could have quite easily quit at the start, but it was skiing that gave me the hope and the focus to actually go, right, I'll get through these early months, this really dark stage, and I'll focus on the skiing. I don't think it's possible, but I will let myself dream, I suppose, that it can be possible.
I love it. Let me dream.
It made me realise that initial time that if I can still ski, then what else can I do?
Yes.
So I came back and I was like, right. I actually came back from the first holiday and I moved into my home where I'm living now. I've been living here since 2001.
Which is actually very cozy. I like it.
It's lovely, yeah. It's very nice home, nicely adapted. So I live independently. I have carers around the clock.
You have Sasha.
I have my cat, yes.
Sasha is sleeping or semi-sleeping.
Did have two, but one died last year. That's a different story.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I mean, this was about living independently.
Yes.
And it was a case of, right, I don't want to be in a nursing home. I've been there, done that. It was depressing. It was dark. I wanted to be able to live independently, and I wanted to be able to get my life back.
Yes.
So we set up living independently with carers, where I have 4 carers working around the clock. Mm-hmm. So I'd kind of come to terms with having people look after my care needs, people actually doing these things for me.
Yes.
It took a long time. It didn't happen overnight. It took a long time to actually come to terms with that. But he was doing activities that made me realise, actually, you know, right, I am still who I am. Right, I've done the skiing. Right, I've come home. I've started living independently. Now what? Yes. And I was like, right, I'm 26 years old. What am I going to do now with the rest of my life? Do I either vegetate and just be a burden on society, or do I try and keep my mind going, keep focusing, and give myself something to live for?
Yes.
So I enrolled on a physical sports course with a physical disability.
Wow. Okay.
just
quite challenging, isn't it?
So that presented a few issues. Doing a sports coaching course with a physical disability, and the coach had never met anyone like me, and he was like, "Well, if you want to do this, we'll give it a go." So it was like, right, how do we do a warm up? How do we do this? How do we direct that? My voice was also very quiet because part of my injury is I've kind of damaged a lot of my upper chest. So when I breathe, I breathe from my diaphragm. So I don't actually, like when I lay down at night, my chest doesn't actually go up and down.
Oh, wow.
I actually breathe from the diaphragm, so it's harder to talk, to project my voice, and I got tired very quickly. So I had to learn to live with that. But that was wonderful. That was a challenge, and that led to me, as part of the course, I had to do 10 voluntary hours of sports coaching.
Yeah.
So I heard of this sports club called the Sand Club. See the ability, not the disability.
Oh.
Which was working with young children with disabilities, and I thought, brilliant. If I can contribute something back to society and help these disabled children participate in sport themselves,
yes,
and they can see what I do, then that's going to boost them, boost me. Nearly 19 years on, I'm still heavily involved in the club.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
And I'm sure you made such a difference to so many children. And probably one of them were watching this interview one day saying, "Oh, that's Trev. He inspired me." How beautiful is that?
Well, I think so. And if they can see what I do and what I do and how I live my life and how I do push myself further and further and I've challenged myself more and more, that they can see actually you're not held back by your physical restrictions.
There we go.
And one thing I like is the only limits are the limits you put on yourself.
Oh, I love that.
And if you can let yourself imagine that you're going to be skiing or you're going to be sailing. Sailing's another interesting thing because I found out about sailing a few years ago, and I got involved in a club called Sailability. I didn't think I'd be able to sail. First few times I went out in two-man boats, and I always felt like a passenger. And after having so much control taken away from me, we said one day, there's no way I'd be able to actually sail this myself. Bear in mind I can, very, very limited movement. And it was like, yeah, sure. So they managed to set up one of the boats and they set up a joystick so that I could operate the rudder, I could operate the sails myself.
That is phenomenal. I would never even imagine that it's possible.
No, well, neither did I at one stage, but I let myself dream. We set up the boat, we set up the equipment, and I was able to reach my goal of being able to sail completely independently on my own.
There we go.
Which was wonderful. The freedom, the independence, everything that I'd been fighting for was there, and it was wonderful just to be able to have a sail on my own.
Wow. You know what I noticed? The kind of areas in your life where you were healthy, then yes, you broke your neck, you got absolutely disabled, and then you were in this vegetable state where you were really still, you couldn't do anything. And as soon as you were exposed to, I can ski, what else I can do, you decide just to go ahead and do things.
Absolutely.
Would you say it was the sport what kept you going, or what exactly was keeping you going? Because so far I can see the completely different patterns of what it was before. It's like I was lying still in a bed for a year, and now, boom, skiing, sailing. How about if I do it myself? It's like different men.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it all comes down to mindset. It was initially the sport itself and the activity that gave me hope and it gave me purpose. Yes. But then it was also, right, so if I can do this, what else can I do? Right. If I can ski and I can sail, then what else can I do? Right, I've started studying sports coaching. Right, I've done okay with that. Right, I'll push myself further. So I enrolled and I qualified in 2011. I got my degree. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be rolling across stage to become a BA.
Wow.
But I just kept pushing myself, kept driving. 2011 became a Bachelor of Arts in counselling.
Are you the one being body able? Look at you.
My aim was to be able to help others, but I realised during the process how much I'd not really understood my own injury and how much I'd not really understood the trauma and all the psychological processes and the grief, and it really was a journey of self-discovery of what I had been through and how much I had kind of put to one side or how much I'd not processed. So it really gave me a lot of clarity to understand what I've been through and to be able to write about these experiences from a educational viewpoint for a degree was good. I couldn't get my full message across. So I decided to, once I've got my degree, I was that full of self-awareness. I decided to write my first book.
Wow.
About my life, my injury, my recovery, and with the hope that it can help other people.
Yes.
Going through similar things and see what can be achieved.
That is phenomenal. Would you even think about writing a book when you were 24 or 25?
No, it wasn't on my radar at all. It was only 2011. I thought, I've got my degree, right? Now what? What can I do next? All right, okay, I'll write a book. And then as the years have gone on, I pushed myself further and further. As you can see in the background, there's a safari up there. I've been to Egypt travelling.
Yes, actually. Oh, there are lots of things from, yeah,
there's various things about, some stuff from Egypt, some stuff from...
You went to South Africa as well, Kruger Park.
Yeah.
I went there as well.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It was, again, it was something that I felt that I wanted to do. And going on safari as a wheelchair user just isn't in your radar. So
actually, yes, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. I can't even envision that.
It presented a lot of challenges. So after going through lots of hurdles and kind of various little small holidays, again, by setting goals, pushing myself further and further, I was like, well, actually, I want to go on safari. Right, so how do I make it happen?
Yeah.
What do I need to do in order to make it happen? And where there's a will, there's a way. And I managed to get to the bottom of a riverbed in South Africa.
Wow.
I managed to walk with a cheetah. And it was absolutely spectacular. And all these things I never thought I'd do in my wildest dreams.
Wow.
But because I've just let myself push myself more and more, and as I've achieved one thing, I've gone, right, move on to the next thing. Right, how do I better that? What do I do that's going to top that? And I find myself now that I don't know if there are limits.
That is a phenomenal phrase. I love that.
You find, my next challenge is doing a hot air balloon ride. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I never let myself think it's going to happen.
Yes.
And as it turns out, ironically, today's the 10th. So the 10th of June, I will be doing a hot air balloon ride.
In 30 days. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think that really will make me realise yet again, what limits? Am I restricting myself, or how do people restrict themselves in their own daily lives, in their own daily routines, by mundane things, when you can let yourself think of the impossible and think, no, I can't do that. Think, actually, right, I'll find a way.
I love that.
and I'll find a way of doing this.
That is such a golden nugget. Body-able people, they very often think they're limited because they have not enough time. Mm-hmm. They don't have enough money, they don't have enough people, they don't have enough something else in their life what stops them to become or do whatever they want to. But look at you. You've been disabled and you decide, what's next challenge? What is my next challenge? What else I want to do? I don't want to stop here. I want to go to the next level. I admire that. I feel guilty now, you know that. I feel really guilty now because I haven't done half of the things you've done already. I better crack on with all of them.
Absolutely, pull your finger out. Well, this is why I want to, and it got to a point of a couple of years ago, probably last year, where actually, right, I've got all these stories, I've got to where I'm at. Right, what do I want to do in my life now? And
good question.
I say the logical in my head. The next step for me was to actually go, right, okay, I actually want to be able to sit in front of people, and I want to be able to motivate and inspire people by what I've done, what I've achieved, what I've overcome, and prove that, although I live a life of paralysis, I don't limit myself. And one of my phrases is, I choose to live a life of possibility, not disability. And if I can help create awareness, and if I can help create hope in others, not just people with disabilities, but people that are able-bodied, that are holding themselves back and not living their lives to the full potential, then the world's your oyster.
I love that. I absolutely love that. What you said there is really, it's another golden nugget. I'm just thinking, gosh, how many you said already? You were living the, how people would say probably sometimes, a perfect life. You were body able, you could do anything you wanted. But you were limiting yourself here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as soon as you became disabled within your body, you couldn't move, you couldn't operate, and you're still quite limited, all of a sudden your mindset went, no limits. Yeah. How is it possible? Like you, body-able person, don't you stop?
It's a very good question. I mean, I find quite often that through adversity comes strength. Yes. And it's digging into that inner strength, digging into that resilience that makes you fight, makes you want to push yourself. And if I would have let myself become disabled in my mind and believe that none of these things were possible, I don't know, I think I'd have been years ago rotting away in a nursing home, just sat there in a corner, forgotten about, no life, no hope, nothing to live for. And it's been tough. Wow. Don't get me wrong, it's been tough, and there's been lots of ups, there's been lots of downs, but I look back myself over the last 15, 20 years and I think, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. How did I go from this to lying on my back to doing all these amazing things which I would never have ever come across, never have crossed my radar, and yet I'm doing it paralysed as a wheelchair user.
Exactly. From being body able to being absolutely still, lying in bed, not being able to do anything apart from breathing and allowing your heart to beat. All of a sudden you do the most adventurous stuff. I haven't done half of them, and I'm sure many people haven't done even a bit of them. And here I think it's a very powerful message, not only for those people who are capable of living their life, which is kind of, let's say, normal life, or should I say, correctly body-able life, but how about those who are still in a hospital bed? How about those who just had an incident, just had maybe an accident in their life, and maybe they have broken bones and they're just about to recover, or they're going through the recovery process? I think for them, this interview will be really powerful.
I hope so, and these are the people that I do want to reach out to, because you literally, when your whole world's ripped away from you, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
You're struggling to get through day to day, and you don't realise what's around the corner.
There we go.
And you don't know what potentially could happen. Mm-hmm. I think if you can inspire one person to live their life to their full potential, you can inspire 100. And if you can inspire 100, you can inspire 1,000.
Oh, I love the spirit.
So where this journey takes me now, I don't know. It's getting myself out there and getting my message out there to give this message of hope and see where it leads.
That is beautiful. This is so beautiful and so powerful, and I think everybody needs just to hear this message and realize that life has no limits. Nothing should limit you, not your body, not your mind, especially the mind.
Especially the mind, yeah.
Body can limit you, yes, but even when you are limited, your mind can still take you through. I really love that. But may I ask you a question? Because pretty much you answered both questions already. Because I usually ask the first question.
I have a tendency to talk.
What was the life-changing event, which you already described? You broke your neck.
Broke my neck, yeah.
Yeah, and you beautifully went through what was keeping you going, which is the goal. What is my next goal? What else I want to do?
This is why it's hard to pinpoint it to one point. It was a sequence of events that led to doing another event, which led to another thing. So as time went on, the more and more I felt I was leaving my disability behind. And I don't know if you're familiar with the term of self-actualization.
Yes.
Yeah, being the best person that you can be.
Yes.
So it wasn't just, it's been a matter of stepping stones. It really has, but you get to a point where you think, right, okay, what next? And look back and you think, wow, that was a journey.
You know what I like about your journey? That not even once you said a thing which is too common to other people. We compare ourselves to others. Yeah. Have you noticed? People all the time compare ourselves to other people. But you never win, because there's always somebody who is better, who is stronger, who is smarter, who is more successful. But when you compare like you did to yourself, okay, it's me now skiing, but some months ago I was flat in bed. Right, okay, it's me sailing now, but before I was just skiing, so I'm a better version of myself now. That is so powerful. You actually challenge yourself and you compete with yourself.
I think competing with yourself, absolutely, and to be the best version that you can be.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Love that.
It's not about doing it to be better than everyone else. It's so that I learn, I grow, and I'm better next year than what I am now, and better last year than better now than what I was last year, and just keep moving forward.
Oh, that, you know what? This is really speaking to me, because when I work with people, I always tell them, and very often they would say, "I want to be like," and I'm like, no, don't be like somebody else. You can
Be yourself.
Yeah, be best version of yourself. You can borrow some quotes from other people and say, "Oh, they're adventurous. What if I try to be adventurous?" But don't try to copy somebody, because then you're becoming someone instead of being true yourself.
Absolutely. I don't think a lot of people's route to recovery would have involved skiing, abseiling, climbing, and active sports. But for me, it was just because it was who I was before my injury. Yes. It was important to keep that sense of self-identity and go, right, okay, I am an adventurer. I like doing these things. Right, I'm not going to stop just because I've paralysed myself and unable to move very much.
So powerful.
So it's. I mean, some people think I'm absolutely insane for the things I do, and when I say I'm doing this, I'm doing that, they're like, "You are, you nutter." But then that's me.
Yes.
You know, and I couldn't imagine not doing these activities.
Yeah.
And especially now, I just couldn't imagine not having something to look forward to, a next goal, a next milestone.
Have you heard that? The next goal. How many people will actually achieve something and then that's it?
And then that's it, they've done it.
Yeah. I've done everything, achieved everything, don't need anything anymore. And then life is just like on a straight line. And you feel nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine that life.
No, I couldn't either. So keep challenging yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep challenging yourself. Love that. You know what? I'll actually make a post about that. I love it. Keep challenging yourself. Don't stop. You know, one of the things which you said earlier as well, you never went to the past. You kept saying, how can I do this as a disabled person? And I really admire you for that. I'm not sure if you noticed yourself. You see, in my life day to day, because I do life coaching, I learned how to not just listen but also hear particular phrases and words. And what I loved through the whole entire interview, how you never even once went to, oh, can I do it like I used to be before? Not even once. You kept telling, how can I do this as a disabled person? So you embraced who you are now.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be like that person, but still doing things. You were not even moaning in your verbal communication to yourself, saying, how can I do it again like I used to be before? And so many people go back there all the time. I want to lose weight, so I'm back to who I was before. I want to do so and so I can go back to who I was before. But you can't go back.
No.
You can't.
You have to go forward.
Yeah, exactly. You need to embrace yourself, who you are, what you are, and go forward. I love that. I absolutely love that. Really love it.
Yes, I like that. It's very powerful.
It is powerful, absolutely. But you see, I've got a question to you, because I learned that you are a motivational speaker. You are an author.
Yes.
You are a BA. You are an adventurer.
Yeah.
You are the person who is independent, being disabled. You are the person who travels around the world. So you're a combination of all of that. So my question to you is, could you imagine anything else in your life doing apart of what you do now? Because what you do now, you help others to be inspired and motivated by your challenges, by your life story, by having that book, by having this training, by showing with your example what you achieved. But could you imagine anything else doing in your life if you wouldn't be able to do this? Or if you would have chance to have all the time and all the money in the world, would you choose anything else?
It's a good question. I did start a network marketing business, which would have been good for financial gain, but I didn't feel the personal growth.
Oh.
And as for now I feel I'm on this path, I'm on this journey for a reason. And I feel if my experiences, my knowledge, and my words and writing can help other people, then no, I won't change it at all.
Beautiful. It's so powerful because you haven't. Because what I was thinking, will you ever say that maybe I would like to be body able again, or maybe you would say something else?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, but it's rhetorical. But it's funny that when I dream in the actual unconscious state, not in my conscious reality, but when I dream, I'm able-bodied. I very rarely dream that I'm in a chair or there's any symbolism of a chair.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, I dream I'm able-bodied. So it's like the unconscious mind won't let go.
Yeah.
At first, that was very hard because I was having a great dream and you go, oh, that was a fantastic dream, right? And then you wake up and it's like, oh shit, I can't get out of bed now. I can't get dressed, and that was really frustrating and really challenging. But even 20 years on, I very very rarely dream unconsciously about the chair, and there's no symbolism of it. Whereas in the conscious state, obviously I can dream of what I want to do and what I want to achieve.
I think this is so powerful. I think this is a sign that your mindset is never limited to anything, because it's there. It's there. It's not in our body. Our mindset, yes, it's kind of in our brain, but it doesn't mean that you're limited by anything. It's almost like you get opened up to what you could have been doing, you can be doing. You're absolutely limitless. Even when you wake up and you recognize that, oh yes, actually I'm disabled. But at the same time, your mind is not.
Yeah.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Very very good very good way of looking at it.
So in the beginning, it was almost like a pain to dream when you are body able, but now it's almost like a sign. Look, you are limitless. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
It's remarkable. I think it's really remarkable because
I think I said it earlier, but the only limits are literally the limits that you put on yourself.
yes.
If you say that you're not going to achieve a goal, and if you say to yourself that you can't do something, there's a good chance you're not going to do it. If you say to yourself, I can do this and I will find a way of doing it, then you will get there and you will find a way of achieving that goal. Even though some people may think it's impossible, and at times I feel it's impossible, but when you actually tick it off and you get to that goal, you think, oh right, that was doable.
Exactly, it's doable. But I love what you said there. You will find a way. You did not say, sit in the sofa and be positive, because it's not going to help.
No, it's
you did
not
not say, yeah,
yeah.
find the way. You actually need to go out there and find the way. Not just be positive, not just say your affirmations, but actually go out there and find the way, whether it is in your mind.
Yeah, that's the hard part is taking the action and finding places that will do these activities, or having that courage to take that step.
Yes.
Or to take that leap of faith.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it does. You learn from the lessons and you keep moving forward.
Love that. But look, what if somebody listening to this interview gets really inspired by you and they think, wow, I want to talk to Trev. I want him to help me. I want him to guide me. What actually could you do to these people? Because you said you want to help more. You want to reach more people. So what actually can you do for them? Is there anything you can, for example, you do help young people now. So if they want to reach out to you, how they can get in touch with you?
How can they get in touch with me? Easiest way is via my website, liferollson.co.uk.
Life Rolls On. That's really interesting name. Life Rolls On. Why would you pick this one?
Well,
I'm sure there is something behind.
It's kind of become my mantra, because life rolls on. No matter what challenges are thrown at me, no matter what obstacles I come across, I'm still going to be here. And it was actually the name of my first book, Life Rolls On, and it just feels appropriate. And then as time's gone on, it's just become a mantra. Like, right, whatever it does get thrown at me, right, life's going to roll on, no matter whatever,
Oh,
no matter what
mantras.
happens. And I could have quite easily not moved forward.
Yes.
But I just feel that life rolls on says it all.
I love that. Life rolls on says it all.
Absolutely.
So is it www.liferollson.com?
.co.uk.
.co.uk, yeah, sorry, yeah. So liverollson.co.uk, if you want to get in touch with Trev, I'm sure you'll be even more inspired and motivated if actually you will see him in person. Is it true?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely can feel it because I heard your story from other people, but I got really inspired with this story. But now you're telling me actually right into my face and feeling the emotions and sensing the energy is so powerful. It's really powerful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really
it's been a pleasure.
I just also wonder, just to give a bit more value to your listeners, when it comes to young people, you mentioned something really, I think to so many people, very emotional thing. Many of them not only don't have life direction because they're so young, they don't have even their normality they had set up yet because they're too young to understand what it's like or what life can be giving them or what they can achieve. And also they were not probably exposed to so many things in their life yet. So it leaves them at like very rock bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
What could you do? What do you think should be done in terms of helping young people who are in a position of not being able to live normal life?
I think the biggest thing is awareness of showing what can be done by my own actions, but also from an educational viewpoint as well, for people to see that it's okay. So just because someone's got a disability, don't avoid them. Go and help them. Go and talk to them. Don't look at them just because they've got a chair. Help see the person, not the chair. And I think if you can help the young people overcome obstacles and barriers early on, and they can face some of their issues early on, then hopefully 5-10 years time they'll be going, I did this because I did that, and that led to me doing this, and this. And they've not held themselves back by going, I can't do it.
That is so true. And you see, when we change one life, if we just aim at one life at a time, you help that one person who is young, who hasn't been exposed to many things, he doesn't know or she doesn't know what's in life there for me. But if you just help one person, the person, as you said, will grow up. But automatically what they will do, they will want to give back because they were helped.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That means our society will get better and better simply because you help that one person. Just one. Aim at least for one. I love that. Wow. Well, that was challenging journey of yours.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's definitely been challenging.
I have a bit of a mixture of feelings now, to be honest. I feel very proud of you. Very proud of you. I feel emotional because
I feel proud of myself because I could have quite easily quit.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of times and lots of hurdles where you just think, no, I can't do this. And then I have to keep reminding myself of things I've done in the past that I've got over. And you get through it. And no matter what life does throw at me, life does roll on.
There we go. And it's so powerful. But you see, the second feeling which I have is I feel embarrassed of myself because I haven't done half of things what you've done. Seriously, it feels bad.
Not everyone would want to do some of the things that I've done, but hey, you don't want to go to the bottom of a waterbed and stroke a hippo.
Probably not. Not probably. If you ask me, probably not. I think I will definitely start appreciating more the chance which I'm given actually to be able to go, to drive, to walk in and see you, to set up everything so we can have this conversation. Because let's put it this way, if I would be disabled, you would be disabled, this wouldn't happen. So let me appreciate it.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting point because people do take these things for granted. And so what would you do moving forward? What would you implement differently?
What I will do, I'll book myself a parachute jump.
Right, okay.
I was dying to do one. And because it's so scary, I love heights. I'm not scared of heights. Because when you're on a plane, you're still safe.
Yeah.
But I am freaking out when I think, what if I'm gonna fall down? I'm just so scared. So I think what I'll do, I'll book a parachute jump, and yeah, I'll do that. But you know what made me think? Maybe what I should do, not just to do a parachute jump, which is normal parachute jump, but maybe I should find an organization, and maybe you can recommend me, where I can actually do parachute jump but support.
Yeah, so you're raising some money for someone else.
Yeah, so is there anything with actual disabilities whom actually I could support?
Well, a lot of the activities I've been involved with are a charity called Backup, and they were fundamental in getting me skiing, getting me doing outdoor activities, and lots of other things. And I'm myself actually nearly did a parachute jump. I raised about £400 for the charity, and I thought that was fantastic because they've done so much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sat there on the day, and no one was jumping. The weather was too bad, no one was jumping. And they discussed with me what they was going to do with my arms, holding my arms together, how they was going to tie my legs up. And I was like, okay. And then the day after, I got a call from the instructor saying that they didn't think it was a good idea for me to jump out of the plane.
Really?
So my mate did it, and he said it was absolutely amazing. I had to give the money back, which was unfortunate. But then I never actually pursued it, and I thought perhaps I'm a big believer in things happening for a reason. And I think perhaps jumping out of the plane was maybe a step too far.
Maybe.
And I never pursued it again. I thought, well, if you've been told once, perhaps it's the universe telling you, be in a plane, not jumping out of it. so I do learn from lessons, and like I say, I think things happen for a reason, and if you've got to follow your instincts also.
Yes.
I could have pursued it and gone, right, I'll do it next year, but I felt actually right, perhaps not.
Right.
And I'm quite happy to let that one slide. As time's gone on, I've just thought, no, I'm quite happy not to jump out of the plane.
I actually quite like what you said. I listen to my intuition, because not many people do.
No.
Not many people do. Do you think if you would listen to your intuition back then, when you were climbing that wall, do you think you would save yourself from that broken neck? Was there anything telling you don't do it?
No, I was just young and stupid. No,
but maybe it wasn't young and stupid. Maybe it's something what was actually meant to happen, so you can be who you are now.
That's how I see it. It was meant to happen, so I am who I am now.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it seems stupid, and I would never ever consider climbing anything without protective gear. I would never consider doing anything unskilled, just as you do. Yeah. Everything's planned, prepared, and you look after yourself.
Yes.
But no, it just seemed like a good idea at the
time. So intuition wasn't there, which means it was just meant to be, because let's put it this way, we would never sit here if you wouldn't be who you are now. Because probably you would get with the wrong company, into drugs, into drinks, who knows?
It's one of those rhetorical questions that I ask myself. It could have gone either way. And I don't know what life could have been. I could still be stuck in a dead-end job, doing things I don't like, working to fulfil someone else's dreams. I could have created my own businesses, or I could have just plodded through life, and I could have not experienced half the things that I have done. So you just don't know.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful how you actually appreciate it. What has happened, you embrace it, and you are at ease with that. I like it.
It took me a long time. And it wasn't an easy step, but I look back over the last 19 years and I just think, wow.
Would you say your last 19 years were much better than previous 25, 6, 5?
It's different. It's a different thing because I had a lot of fun when I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to compare.
Yeah.
But the places I've been and experience that I've had, I would never have thought possible.
Phenomenal. And I think on this note, we're just going to say, if you want to ever contact Trev, please go to his website, which is
www.liferolleson.co.uk.
Powerful, and your story is absolutely phenomenal. I really wish we could inspire so many young people who are in similar position, so many people who are in mid-age or even older people who are actually thinking they're very limited. Please don't think so. Please
No,
step
don't
up.
think you're limited.
Exactly.
Reach your potential and set yourself goals. Fall, have not literally, but set yourself goals, set yourself hurdles, overcome obstacles, challenges, and don't restrict yourselves. Learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward.
There we go. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you very much, Trev, for being with me here for a whole entire hour and giving so many golden nuggets. I cannot wait now to pass it on to your audience so they get inspired and get motivated by your life-changing story. Thank you.
Thank you.